meta in Monster Hunter was. Monster Hunter Rise specifically. Most of you would probably go, well, it's obviously weakness exploit, critical boost, attack boost, and a Nagakuga weapon, right? And yeah, you would be right. This is currently the most raw damage that you can get on most weapons. And I do see these setups in lots of online hunts. Like 9 out of 10 hunts, I have at least one person who rocks one of these armor sets. Mostly probably 2 or even 3. What I don't see is people who are still experimenting with builds and rocking something different and like actually wearing something that's fun, I guess. So let's talk about the meta and why you don't really need to care about it. So first off, yes, the Nagakuga stuff is the most damaging thing, we have established that. But to me, that kind of playstyle has never been fun. I'm going to explain this further. I never make it a habit to pick the best weapon in a game or the best armor set or anything like that. I typically even try to avoid it as much as possible, if that makes any sense. So, for example, if I was playing a first-person shooter and there was a definitive best gun in the game, I would make a point not to use that gun. Because I feel like using that would put me on an even playing field, but it will also take away a bit from the fun because everyone is using that thing, so it's just, you know, even playing field and all that. But I like having like different levels of stuff. Like I like experimenting with different stuff, find something that better suits me, even if it's suboptimal. And it's the same for Monster Hunter. I don't care that the Nagakuga weapons are the best ones. Do I still have them? Do I have Nagakuga dual blades? Yes, of course I do. And I've made that build and I've looked at it and went, nah, and switched to something else. So, a good example for this are probably these dual blades right here. These are the Raging Claws, which are really, really fun because they have a unique ramp-up skill that no other weapon in the game has as far as I can tell, which is the Hellion mode. So what that does is, when you're in demon mode with the dual blades, you get 100% affinity. That is 100% crit chance on every hit while you're in demon mode. With the caveat, of course, that you eat through your sharpness at twice the normal rate. So when you would normally get like 10 hits of blue sharpness, you now get 5. Of course, we have ways to mitigate that with things like protective polish, razor sharp, and if you can get these things on, this weapon suddenly becomes amazing without the need for something like weakness exploit. Because you already have 100% crit. And that frees up some more slots for other stuff. And lots of people have figured this out already. Like, this is not my idea with these dual blades. I've seen a post online for these dual blades and was like, that looks really cool, I'm gonna make a set with that. I didn't even look at the set that the poster was wearing because I was like, I'm gonna make my own. And I did. And it was brilliant. It did tons of damage, was really fun to play. Nice mechanic to play around. Then I came back to the post to basically compare what like the poster had come up with in terms of armor sets versus what I had. And went totally different routes with it. But I also saw a comment that basically said, well, yeah, but if you do the math, it still does like 4% less damage than the current meta build or something like that. Don't pin me down on the percentages. I don't care. Just an example. And that makes me kind of angry because those people always go like, yeah, it's not worth using because it doesn't do max damage. And this is very discouraging the experimentation in the game, right? Because most people will see this and go, well, if people have actually done the math and gone like, this does less damage than the other one, then why should I use it? And that statement is especially true for newcomers to the game, because they are most likely the people who are looking for the best build they can have, right? They just want the highest damage numbers, the best build they can get, and so on and so forth, because they don't have gotten the hook in. if you know what I mean. Like, Monster Hunter hasn't got its hooks into them yet. They don't know the gameplay loop. They don't know that it's about experimenting. It's about making new armor sets, like trying out different stuff. They just want to kill monsters faster with higher damage numbers. And the meta build will do that for them. And then they beat the final boss and then they go, that was fun. Then they stop playing. And you all know that with Monster Hunter there's so much more going on that you can do, right? You can make so many armor sets. You can try all the 14 different weapons. Maybe find something that you've never played before and suddenly clicks with you. Monster Hunter Rise experimenting is like encouraged more than ever with the switch skill system even. And I feel like this is something that gets easily lost with basically everyone just chasing the meta. Even more so considering that most people who have these weakness exploit sets probably won't even hit the monster's weak points because they don't know what they are and they're just wailing on the legs because they are easy to hit and they just go, yeah, I'm gonna hit the monster, gonna do some damage. And you go like, but the weak point is the head or like the tail or something else. And they go like, man, don't care, gonna whack the monster anyway. But at that point you might just basically throw those points that you've invested into weakness exploit out the window because you're not using them. And I see lots of people doing that online, by the way, who have no idea where the weak points are and don't focus on anything at all. Which is a real shame. Well, that's turned into a bit of a rant, hasn't it? But I guess what I'm trying to say is, use whatever you want, and more specifically, whatever's fun to you. Like, don't get carried away by the meta, and if your build that you've made isn't meta, it doesn't matter. No, you play what you think is fun, right? If you're still contributing to the hunt in multiplayer, if you can still kill monsters, that's fine. You're doing a good job, right? Your build is viable, your build is good. If you want to go ahead and chase the meta, go ahead. I'm not stopping you, but I do encourage you to try out different builds every now and then. And because you might fight something that you didn't know was fun to you, but suddenly is. I've been Pandabar. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good hunt.